Let's get more insight on President Xi's state visit. Political analyst Dmitriy Frolovskiy joins me live from St. Petersburg. Dmitry, welcome to the program. How much have the Trump administration's America First policies, its protectionist policies, help Russia and China really forge even stronger ties?
I think if we look right now, and especially in light of the ongoing trade wars between United States and China, then Russia appears actually a pretty reliable partner. And for instance, we could look at the oil sector, petrochemicals, and because of the land territory that land border that China and Russia shares, then Russia could be a pretty reliable partner for China and help China to offset some of the negative impacts of the trade war and some of the dangers of the supplies to China from other destinations. And in general, as the previous speaker mentioned, there are a lot of state contracts going on that are agreed on the state level. And here in St. Petersburg, during the forum that starts tomorrow, we're probably going to see a lot of contracts signed between the Chinese and Russian companies, and I think that will also signify the relations between the two countries.
And what are the expectations from President Xi Jinping's address to this International Economic Forum where you are in St. Petersburg?
I think on the 7th of June, there's going to be a plenary session with the Chinese Xi Jinping, President Putin, the Armenian president, and the president of Bulgaria. And I think during this particular event, there's going to be a lot of discussions of the similarities of what Russia and China share in their worldview. Perhaps they're going to be mention of the situation in Venezuela. And they're also we're probably going to hear a lot of things about the contracts between the two countries that will follow. But in general, the expectations about the attendance of Chinese delegations is pretty big. There is one of the largest Chinese delegations that attends the forum this year. A very big number of Chinese companies, the leading Chinese companies that come along with the Xi Jinping. And I think this is a very, very big event that Russia takes very seriously, and Russia is really hoping that this sort of event that it creates, it will help to boost the relations further. So yeah.
Russia is also a key partner in China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. What does each country really hope to gain from that partnership?
Well, it is interesting that in discussing the Belt and Road Initiative, because in Russia, in fact, there is some caution about the Belt and Road in general, because in Russia there is actually a belief about the debt trap that might somehow diminish Russian influence in Central Asia, in Caucasus as well. So although Russians are very enthusiastic about the Belt and Road Initiative, at the same time there is a very big concern that it could actually deliver dividends. At the same time, I think Russians rely on Chinese companies, and I think there will be a lot of cooperation that goes not as a part of the Belt and Road, but as in terms of direct communications with Chinese companies. So I think this is what we're going to see, most likely.
And Dmitry, you mentioned cooperation in a number of areas. Which you think is perhaps the most significant between these two countries? Is it cooperation in the diplomatic area? Is it economic, energy sector, tech sector?
I think if we look at the Russian-Chinese relations, there's going to be a lot of asymmetry, right? With Russia supplying a lot of raw materials to China, and at the same time getting in return a lot of high-tech products. So because of this relations is marked by asymmetry, it's very hard to identify one sector. But most likely, yeah, from Russia's side, it's going to be raw materials, and from China, it's going to be something of more technological nature. At the same time, if we look at diplomacy and if we look at what's happened on the international stage, then obviously both countries will continue to cooperate in the Security Council. And as Chinese president already mentioned, of President Putin being his closest friend, then I think Russia and China at this current historical moment share perhaps one of the best levels of their relations and understanding on almost every international issue. At the same time, I think it also more asymmetric. There's however some asymmetry in political relations, because although there are a lot of similarities, I think Russia relies on China as an ally, while China views Russia as a strategic partner. So I think Russia, to an extent, could go even more supportive of China in many initiative, while China perhaps will be more cautious, especially in regards to trade wars and perhaps the pressure, international pressure in terms of sanctions that impose on Russia currently.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Dmitry Frolovskiy, thank you so much.